Hi guys, it's Hanna here from foodies and thank you so much for coming back to another video. And today we're going to be making a gooey, creamy, chocolatey porridge with caramelized bananas for a beautiful breakfast or even a late breakfast, brunch kind of thing. If you love chocolate, if you love bananas, if you love oatmeal, which I've been obsessed with recently, this is going to be really good for you. So the recipe is actually going to be on my website, the full recipe written up at www.foodieinspirator.com if you'd like to go and check that out. And without further ado, let's get started. So what I've got right here is 55 grams of oats weighed up. I would normally tend to go between 55 to sort of 70 grams for a breakfast portion, unless you're super duper hungry. Then what I've got here is just 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder, about half a teaspoon of cinnamon, maybe more than 3/4, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So you just want to get all of that in there. I actually prefer getting the spices in while the oats are still dry. I just find that it mixes a lot better, and you can get all the kind of lumps out like you see right there. So you really want to make sure that there are no lumps, because that will be quite bitter in a porridge. So you just want to give all of that a really good mix. You can add whatever else you want in here. If you want it to be a little more spiced up, you could add some turmeric, a little bit of cardamom or aniseed if you like to go sort of down the Indian spices route. So that looks pretty good to me right now. So you can see it's really nicely sort of mixed up with the oats. So that's precisely what we want. I just used regular cocoa powder, whatever you can find right now will do, and just sort of regular cinnamon and nutmeg. So the milks I'm going to be using are going to be the Alpro oat, and I've recently really started to like the Innocent range of plant-based milks. I just find that they're really creamy. They have a really good taste. I think it's easier to get used to, and there's less additives. So I'm going to be using half oats and half the Innocent hazelnut milk, which I think makes the porridge extra creamy. So you just want to get that in there. I kind of eyeball this, but I try to do double the amount of milk as I have the amount of oats. So I just find that works really well, and sometimes it can get a little too creamy, if that's possible at all. So what you can do then is add some water if you'd like. So you just want to mix that up, and I'm just going to turn my heat on here to a medium. So you can see it all mixes really well, and there aren't really any lumps from the cocoa powder, which is precisely what we want. So I'm just going to get my heat onto a 5 out of a 6 here. I'm going to wait for that to heat up. And basically what you want to do is just cook it to whatever texture you like to cook it to. I prefer mine sort of in between creamy and thick, so I might need to add a little bit more milk here towards the end, we'll see. So that will cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. So while my oats are on, that's gonna start to bubble there very soon, you'll be able to see. I've actually got a banana chopped up here too. It was a very big banana, so half of it will do for one portion of porridge. And I've just got about 2 tablespoonfuls of rapeseed oil right in there. You just want to heat that up as well as possible. You also want to make sure you have a really good non-stick pan, because you really don't want the bananas to stick, otherwise they won't really caramelize as well as they should. So I'm just going to let the oil heat up, and we're going to caramelize the bananas while the oats are actually cooking. You can see what I meant by mixing up the oats with the spices before you actually added any sort of wet ingredients. All of the spices that we added are really well dispersed, and there is no sort of gloopy kind of cocoa powdery pieces, so that is precisely what you want. And you want to make sure to keep stirring it also, so as not to let it burn. which can happen very easily. If you think it's up too high, you can lower the heat down. So I'm just gonna cook that out. So you can see my oats are pretty much done. This is the texture I like mine to be. So it is nice and creamy, but it's also kind of slightly gloopy. So I think that they're perfect. I've just removed them from the heat, and by letting them stand, they're actually gonna thicken up a little bit more. So you'll have to see if you think you need to add more milk to that. My oil is really hot here. I've removed it from the heat, and a good way of checking is if you sort of swirl it around, you can see it moves really freely, whereas before it heats up, it's actually pretty thick. So I'm just gonna pop that back on the heat, and you're just gonna grab your banana slices and place them down into it one by one. This would be a good time to lower the heat. So you wanna make sure that you don't burn them. You just wanna caramelize them really slowly. Once you've got them all in there, you just want to sort of leave them cook for about 2 to 3 minutes before you actually start to remove, before you start to flip them. So you'll be able to see sort of the top kind of goes a little soft and mushy, and that is when they're ready to flip. So for the flipping, something like this is pretty useful. It's a spatula that they use quite a lot in kitchens, and it's actually pretty malleable, so this is really super useful if you want to flip something. You can see there that it's already starting to get pretty caramelized around the edges, so I'm actually just going to flip that. Yeah, that is precisely what you want, that gorgeous caramelization around the edges. You want to make sure to cut your bananas pretty thick, because otherwise they will disintegrate really easily in this recipe. And when you think they're ready, you can just pop it off the heat. No need to remove them out of the pan. And then we are ready to serve. As you guys can see, I've just plated up the porridge. I'm gonna grab a spoon here. And you can see I've put quite a lot of maple syrup on there as well. So I just laid the caramelized bananas on it. After that, I chopped up some dark chocolate. That was some dark chocolate with sea salt bits in it. And the smaller you chop it up, the easier it will actually melt onto the porridge. I've added a teaspoonful of crunchy peanut butter just to give it that extra creaminess. Then I sprinkled about a teaspoon of chia seeds on top and just added a little bit of extra hazelnut yogurt, hazelnut milk, sorry, just to make it even more creamier and make sure that it isn't dry. So let's see what it looks like. You can see it's beautiful, it's creamy, and it's going to be delicious. So that's it, guys. That's extra gooey, chocolatey, peanut butter caramelized banana porridge. I have this recipe about 2 to 3 times a week. It's just so delicious. It's almost like having dessert for breakfast. So I really hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you make it. And if you do make any of my recipes, if you have Instagram, tag me on Instagram at foodies, or post them on Facebook. I have a Facebook group as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe below and comment in the comments what you would like to see. I've got some really cool recipes coming up. If you follow me on Instagram, I keep you guys posted on what I'm going to be posting regularly. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being here, and see you next time.